WOR returns. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to some league racing action here on this Monday. It is time for Tier 5 to burst into action. It's going to be quite an amazing race around these famous streets that are in your picture at the moment. One of the great venues, history everywhere you look, and it's about to get these stars of the future become the stars of now as they continue their fight in this championship, which has been competitive, which has been dramatic so far as well. We are getting ready for what is going to be quite a feisty event, not the most amount of drivers, but we've got some contenders who have put in their practice and who are all set and ready to go for what is going to be another great round. We've had 4 races so far. This is round number 5 of our campaign as we get ready to reach the halfway mark in a few rounds this season, progressing by at a very rapid rate. Well, welcome along everyone to the camera screen as well in the commentary box. As you can see, my name is going to be Omi, and alongside me, as you can see, making his return back to the esports world, it is Mr. Joshua Birch. Hello, JB.
Hello, Omi. Hello, everybody. This is very weird to be back as well, coming in for the commentary box. Back in esports, I've missed a game cycle. I'm back now, and I'm not planning on going anywhere else, and I'm loving every second of it. It's been a huge change in just 12 months of people coming in and going out. I'm absolutely loving it.
Absolutely, and we've got a qualifying session as well to get through. But first of all, Joshua Birch, do you want to talk us through some of this circuits and what we have seen previously as well around this venue?
Yeah, well, the history of Monaco is quite fascinating as well because the circuit layout hasn't changed much since its inception back in 1929. The only couple of changes has been the old gasworks hairpin has been replaced by the Rascasse, and we had a Nouvelle Chicane, which, as it translates to, is the new chicane. So that's been the only big changes around this circuit over the past 100 years we've been racing here. The last big, huge change was back in 2004 when we sort of removed the double back slowed apex of Rascasse. We sort of straightened it out to make it easier for some overtaking. Arguably it hasn't changed a thing, and many drivers actually want the challenge back of braking into Rascasse and turning to the left first, then the right. It sort of gives you a good exit up to Anthony Nogues, but either way, it's going quite well, and I think we're about to get the qualifying session underway shortly, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be like as well, as of course, it's going to be different is we're doing this at night, as you can now see on the screen. So qualifying 1 is underway. 12 cars will be heading out there for 18 minutes of action, and this is going to be absolutely spectacular, Romy, as the track will go green while we're under the dark sky.
It will indeed, and we'll welcome these drivers out onto the circuit. We usually see 3 runs when it comes to qualifying here in league racing, but it can sometimes differ, especially around a circuit like this, when the drivers have to change their approach due to the venue that they are tackling as well. You are more likely to get errors around this place, more likely for there to be more improvement on the line compared to other circuits as well. As you can see by the grid, we don't have everyone, as I've mentioned, but you've got 12 drivers who are all eager for points, and I think, JB, lots of drivers are coming into this round hoping for points as well. A lot of people are racing in this specifically because there's a good opportunity with limited drivers.
I think as well, another thing that we've got to contend with as well is that we've got a couple of, only 2 back markers that are coming in as reserve drivers coming in. So if you get a good qualifying here, Omi, as it always is critical, we're going to have the race hard to overtake with, hard to pass with. So I'm expecting good news strategies coming forward as we're now underway onto the circuit. Here they all come then. Alongside as well. Lumi's out first in the Williams, up towards Sandoval to try and get the traction out. And the uphill traction here is absolutely insane. The rears will be slipping all over the place. And a little trick that we haven't seen these guys do, but the pros as well of the sport world always go out intermediates on their very first run just to make sure that their setup of the cars are okay. Here, though, we've gone straight out, it looks like, on brand new soft compound tyres, Omi. So tyre compounds, C4 for the hard, C5 for the medium, C6 for the softs. It doesn't really matter too much in game. It's always just hard, medium, or softs. But We want to add a bit more realism level as the game has been improving over the years in its dynamics and handling mechanics. And it's looking fantastic out there as we go through the tunnel down to the Nouvelle Chicane, which really should get a new name after it's been in there for about 30, 40 years.
It really has. Lumi, the driver in your picture at the moment, who got second place last time out. That was at the Circuit of the Americas, but he's had 2 victories this season. And, well, we've given you 3 of his results. In the season opening round, it was P4. So, from what we can judge, a very consistent season from him. He'll be a driver now getting ready to push on around these streets. But this is kind of the round where it can all kind of change around. The driver's second place in the championship, Kaminsky, got promoted. So he's been moved up to F4 to the 4th tier that we have here in WOR. So it means that the championship has been changed around slightly. Lumi finds himself continuing to try push on, but he's got himself a good advantage of 28 points when it comes to the points battle.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much impressive it's been in the opening 4 rounds before this as well. And I would say a good performance here. A Senna-esque qualifying lap, we're doing well because, as I mentioned, it's hard to overtake that. So it's going to go through. Just a little bit of a car getting out of the way of the exit of Portier down towards the Nouvelle Chicane. But yeah, good points gap is coming very good into it. Cut in the corner on entry, just keeping the inside line. Doesn't lose out on any of the timings because it didn't go red on the track back. It's got purple section 51.206 on the combined times. Look at the speed carried through the sprint pull section, and now it goes red. Omi, we're just taking too much at the exit as he's lost the rear coming through Raskas as well.
Full attack, and unfortunately run 1 will result in no lap time on the board due to that invalidation from the Williams man. Alfie is pushing on as well, so he's just beginning a push lap around the famous street of Monte Carlo. More drivers coming across the line. Okay, we finally got a lap time on the board. That is from Kurumi. That's a 1 minute 10.821 for the rest of the drivers to be. But as we can see so far, lots of invalidations for drivers.
Yeah, this is not going to go well as NSR goes top 109.743 in the Alpine. Again, looking good. Casper's gone up to second, 110.002. So still very much keeping it through. There's a Vettel. This was an outlap to begin with, but now he starts the actual lap up to Sandervoort. Hard on the brakes, flip the car through on the inside line. Looks okay. That's Kraken getting out of the way. So now we can release him up towards turn number 1. Now through the inside line, Sandervoort. Up Beau Rivage towards Massenet at the top of the hill at turn 3. One of the most iconic shots up in Formula 1 there as well, that run. Let's have a look at Pesce as well, coming into the final corner of Anthony Nogues, named after the man who designed the Monaco street circuit. Over the line now and moves up into 6th position, still 124.14. So that was a banker lap time as Daniel Mass managed to get back in to the lobby. And there's Alfie Vinny Everett now across the line in the Sauber, only 4th, 110.355.
Decent stuff. Most of all, if you can get a lap time on the board at this point of the session, it will be a big sigh of relief because you've got plenty of contenders who struggled that originally. Here's one of them, LMB now coming across the line, looking for the time and going to 5th. So directly behind the lap time we were talking you through a few moments ago. 12 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to go. Vettel is going to come into the pit lane, so it was invalidation, then another invalidation, so he's found himself coming in and completely abandoning that one. He was able to fight his way up momentarily though around this circuit. Okay, into the pit lane also we go with Marcus. So a few drivers struggling with that one. Kurumi in 6th, and here is the driver who's right now at the bottom of the table. No lap time invalidated, but he surely had a clatter off the wall considering the speed that he's running at.
Yeah, now he's 126, 127 at the back of the field as well, so pick up for another run. On an unusually wide line he's taken to run in towards Sandervoort. Flicks the car in, it was close to the barrier. Did he scrape it? I think he did. Just inches away as he runs up Beau Rivage. Now let's watch him into Massenet and then Casino Square. Down a couple of gears, flick the car in, now into the slowest section of all the Formula 1 circuits on the calendar. It's even slower than the Castle section in Azerbaijan. The Lowe's, Mirabeau, whatever we want to call the last couple of hairpins down here, it's only 30 miles an hour. Portier 1 leads into Portier 2 and then blast off onto the tunnel. It's a good sector 2 so far, but the Nouvelle Chicane will be the real test, as usually you get the difference from day to night coming through the tunnel. Here it's dark all the way around. He handled that like a pro, Omi.
Absolutely went for it, and those are the margins that you need to be going to around this circuit if you are to get a good lap time. And now he's attacking his way to the swimming pool section and hitting the wall as well. That's how much he was pushing on, right up to the barrier. He avoided it for so much of the lap. He did go into the wall. Lap time will still count. Lap time will still be in progress as he puts his foot to the floor, and we get a lap time now on the board for him, and it's P5. He is very nearly 5/10 off the pace.
Yeah, still looking strong as they come through. 109.743 still the banker. Pesce up to second, Casper in third. We're now looking at Lumi, who's on an out lap now. Lap time was deleted, but can the championship do anything better as he blasts out the last corner, opens up the DRS, keeps it hooked closely towards turn number 1 at Sandevot, flicks the car in and immediately invalidates it, trying to take too much speed in and almost hit the wall.
Wow, absolutely going for it through that part of the circuit, and the first opportunity is where he loses the lap time, the first challenge of this circuit. So unfortunate that he's losing it again. He has to be careful to avoid the barriers at this stage, but he'll now try and wrestle the car around this lap, because this will be a lap time gone, and then he'll need to focus on regrouping and pushing on again if he has the fuel.
So, stronger once more as they hook through once more. The hook, line and sinker approach looking to be impossible so far. Daniel Mas now back in the lobby and invalidates his lap time coming through the Nouvelle Chicane as well. Many drivers didn't get a chance to practice this track before we came into qualifying, so they're on a different downforce level as well. They're adjusting it very much on the fly, but the critical thing is that Parc Ferme is actually still on, so they're having to lobby restart between these two sessions in order to turn that off so they can have the correct setup going into the race. So it's not helping them, and that's going to be why we're going to see a slightly different qualifying than we have in the previous couple of rounds here. But NSR still top, 109.743 from Pesce in second, and Casper the top 3. Washed isn't washed so much. He's still in 4th place, 4.5 of a second down as we watch Casper now through. Join NSR with the fastest second sector. Was it 51? So he's 2/10 up at the moment his own time. Looks on rails coming through. Big snap at the exit. Vettel's gone faster, Omi, but here comes NSR.
So, Vettel found the time to go 3/10 ahead. NSR gets his response. He brings the advantage down by 1/10 of a second, but cannot get on terms as well. Casper has invalidated the lap time there, and that was so dramatic as they were making their way through. Washed will not set a further improvement because he's already retired from the session. So P5, but at risk to other drivers improving behind.
I think he retired on the circuit, Omi. I didn't see him inside the pit lane, and we had a yellow flag out come up at the same time. He didn't. It was, so, yeah, there we go. He did, apparently. Okay, that's good news then. That's good. Thank God for that, because there'd be a big penalty coming if he didn't as well. Daniel Mas is now, unfortunately, disconnected once again. It's the second time he's been lost out at the moment, so the Williams driver is still in 12th. Lumi is still in 11th, and the only two without time so far tonight. Over the line comes LMB, goes up into, well, now 5th position, 7/10 down. 8th to 5th improvement there as he comes up now to do another run. Alfie is invalidated and coming back into the pit lane. So has Vettel in the Mercedes, and he's brushing the wall to let NSR come through, who's into the last corner. The rear still stepping out and boxes out that lap. He didn't want an improvement.
Yeah, so that would have just been go round quick as possible on the in lap after setting his improvement. Okay, Marco, about to go on the attack. We'll bring you a lap around Monaco because this is an important lap. This is a driver who is 1.5 seconds off the pace and so much improvement to find, but he's invalidated at turn number 1, Sandevot. We've seen so many drivers do that today, and there's another one to add to the list.
Well, Sandevot is named after the small church at the right behind the runoff area. Drivers will be praying to have anything but a red lap time around Monaco. I want to also pick your brain about this, Emily, because it's the transition to when we usually run this day in the day to the night now. It does change it. The light perception, even in game, your braking markers can just be taken out a slight. It all just looks just a little bit different under the night sky. And the lights that are added onto the game, it makes it a bit harder around Monaco, I've always found.
It does, because it's already so tricky as it is, and any other things that look a bit awkward, anything that looks weird, or anything that's not as visible as it maybe was before, it can be quite the challenge for these drivers. And when, especially in a session like this, where it's qualifying, where it is all-out attack on the circuit, you cannot afford to have any of those moments. So it is quite tricky, and it is quite a challenge for these drivers. Now, a lot of them don't end up racing on the streets of Monaco, but I think that just adds to it, because it's something that they don't do. They have to probably do maybe once or twice in a game cycle, and then when they do it, it is so tricky.
Kraken's come into the pit lane then as well. Every time we go on board with drives at the moment, we've only got the side on camera. This is just a Monaco thing that happens at the moment. It's a bit disconcerting, but into the come through at the moment. Marco's retired from the session as look at Pesce. Fantastic for second sector. Purple overall. Got some good speed coming through the Raskas into Anthony Noakes. Doesn't hit the barrier. He's got a clean run to the line. Is this faster than a 109.4? It's a 109.6. He goes into third position as well as Vettel's retired from the session, and that was close from Pesce. He hooks that line up fantastically, but the championship leaders return to the top. 109.294 from Lumi. It's faster by a tenth and a half.
Needed it, gets the lap time. Superb stuff all the way to the front of the field. That was extraordinary. When he needed it, the pressure was on, and there is exactly why. He's the championship leader. Okay, you've got an Alpine driver in P3. Casper in 5th, goes to the top, and he's beaten Lumi by half a tenth of a second. Extraordinary stuff by Casper, who's now the leader for Alpine. What about Kirby as he comes across the line? It is going to be, he was just on an out lap there, so he backed out of that lap. It wasn't the push, and he was super tight to the wall on the exit of Sandevot there.
Very weird line up through Beau Rivage as well, and takes in the exit line coming in. Let's have a look at LMB. That lap for LMB to come through. We're going to stay with this lap as he exits Anthony Noakes and runs up the hill towards turn 1 at Sandevot, then into the braking zone. Don't cut the inside line. He's good at the exit too. That was sweet as the McLaren runs up the hill. That's how you're supposed to take Beau Rivage. Just keep the car as straight as you possibly can over the crest into the top of Massenet and through Casino Square down into Mirabeau. Hook the inside line, what used to be a drain pipe cover there that the car used to get hooked into, round the Lowe's hairpin. Portier 1, another right, downhill, down 2 gears, Portier 2, back on the accelerator, control the snap at the rear, keep the car pinned towards the tunnel, aim towards the right kink, and then downhill with a nasty bump, braking into the Nouvelle chicane, takes a bit too much of the curb, but the game allows it, down towards to back, lift off, don't brake, flick the car in, back on the power, keep it pinned through the swimming pool section, down now into La Piscine before going in towards the Raskas, down, second gear, back on the accelerator, control the snap, down another gear, into Anthony Noakes, doesn't control the slip, opens up the DRS towards the line, is it faster? It's only fast enough for 6th, it's 2 tenths improved on his own best time.
So he would have not wanted that one, so he improved his time there, but not the position. So he stays still in 6th place, and he still finds himself with over 3 tenths to gain if he wants to get up to the next driver in 5th, Pesce, who is on an out lap at the moment. These drivers now preparing for their push laps, their final push laps, where the circuit will be at its best, and where you will need to find the improvement as well. Lumi has been on pole once so far this season, so has Vettel fan as well. So you've had 2 drivers who've been contenders who already know how it's been to get that pole position, but could we be about to add another driver to that list by about half a tenth of a second? Casper's got it at the moment, 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to go.
Absolutely love how close it is. It's Monaco. It's designed to be close. Everyone says, oh, it's one of the most boring races of the calendar. It's really not. Monaco is thrilling for qualifying than whatever we see in the race. Now, what's happening here? We've got Pesce is about to do a lap time. We're staying with him, but the McLaren of LMB is going right behind him quite close. And he's backed off now coming into Raskas, yeah, so he's going to go for a lap as well. But he put Pesce under immense pressure. And now LMB's gone for another lap time. And Pesce had to avoid coming out of the pit lane there. That was Alfie coming out. There's LMB going through, up towards the line now at the top, and he's backed out immediately. Pesce's backed out the lap, and LMB's gone back through. So a little bit of a, well, after you mentality going on right now, Omi, as you come back in.
Yeah, absolutely. There wasn't DRS open, so I think he intended as well to do a double push lap. So that's interesting. A double out lap, then to a push lap. So that's going to be interesting to see whether that approach will work. But they're all going for it. They're all using every single tactics to their advantage, to what they can use to get themselves to a good grid position. Because as we mentioned, qualifying's where it is all great, and it makes your life so much easier ahead of the race if you can get yourself to a good grid spot.
But that's exactly what this should be. Esports should be wild, crazy, chaotic tactics. Look at what Jana Watmir did, as well at Silverstone, pitting on the last lap. I thought it was a genius move coming through as well. But that's going to be one for the stewards, wasn't it, to come in? And LMB's backed out of the lap time. But yeah, I must admit, I really enjoyed that move from Jano. It proves how much opportunistic these guys are because they're racing fans and they know how to get away with it. Alfie starts a lap time then with 27 seconds to go in towards turn one. Nicely done, just close to the barrier. Can't get over, I mean, how close they are to hitting it. As Daniel Mass up to second, 9 thousandths off of Casper. Brilliant lap time.
Brilliant. He wasn't a contender anyway, anywhere through that session, but then at the end, when it matters, only 9 thousandths off, and he'll be ruining any part of the circuit where it could have possibly gone away from him. We have Kuromi, who's invalidated the lap time. This is the end of the session. Checkered flag is flying. You've got to find the improvement. Here's our championship leader, Lumi, who's down by a 10th. He's got to give it his all when it comes to the second and third sector. That's where NSR is, and he's up by a 10th.
This could be impossible as well because you really don't want to be making mistakes this end of the session. You just get sucked into your nervous, your overthinking. Down to the line then with the DRS. NSR will take the line from 5th place to pole! 109.153 as here comes Alfie into the last corner.
What can Alfie do? Tries to get the foot to the floor, but you can see the car has completely got away from him as he was sliding as he tried to get the power down, but still it's P6. That was unbelievable.
Over the line comes Pesce as well. He stays in 7th place, but again improves by 0.3 of a second. Kraken next up over it. Only goes 9th. Omi, look who's top.
Lumi's found the time. That was absolutely unbelievable. How has he done that? He was down by a 10th in the first sector. We said he had to make it up in the second and third, and he absolutely did so. A 1:08.856 to get into pole by nearly 0.3 of a second in a session where it was so close. Right at the end, the business end of the session where he needed it. What a lap time to take pole for the second time this season.
Absolutely fantastic. What a qualifying. Lumi's ended up 0.3 ahead of a session where we were saying 9 thousandths, 54 thousandths as well. It was so close. So many mistakes, but the drivers got the cars together where they wanted it to. They got it hooked up at the end, and it was absolutely fantastic. Lumi's on pole position here at Monaco, and we have 39 laps ahead of us for a great result, Omi.
Indeed. Lumi ended fastest of all and on pole. NSR was second, then it was Casper, putting 2 Alpines in the top 3. Then it was Mass, Vettel, and then we had Alfie, Vinny, Everett. Pesci was in 7th, then LMB, then Kraken, Washed in 10th, Kurumi with some late invalidations in 11th, and Marco in 12th. Well, that is qualifying. We're going to head into the race in a few moments' time, but first of all, let's bring you up to date of what we saw last time out with our championship standings as well. So, Lumi leads the championship, as we mentioned, across that qualifying. He's got 80 points to his name. We have Kamensky, who's been promoted, so he's going to find himself 58 points to his name. Vettel in 3rd, and then Malix and Casper. You can see the rest of the standings there on your screen at the moment.
So here we go then.
Indeed, JB. We're going to have to go back into the race and to a wet race as well.
The racing gods are smiling on me today, aren't they? They wanted a wet race, and now we've got it. Are you ready? Because this is the big one. Wet weather at the night race of Monaco. And PC Tier 5 for WOR is about to get going. Omi, down towards turn 1. This is going to be insane for retraction. Are we still, however, changing the lobby? That's something I've just been reminded of to come through right now.
Yeah, so we will be restarting, so ignore the 5 lights. I guess you can see the crash fest that is about to happen in front of our eyes. But other than that, we'll be heading to a restart.
So they're coming through then, and everybody will get a little bit of traction and experience as to what were happening. As you can see, the slides coming through into turn 1. So we are restarting the lobby because of an error in the initial setup, but the drivers have requested just to have this start procedure to make sure they can understand what the traction is like off the line. And you can see how crazy it is going on right now, Omi. Fantastic scenes we're seeing here. And let's have a look then. Should we take a look at it?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Absolutely, why not? Let's take a look at this. Okay, we're going to take a look at the replay. Here we go. This was the start of the race. Well, not the actual start, but you know, it was absolutely dramatic. Round goes to Salva. Incredible stuff.
What to learn about Alfie? As he's gone straight off into the wall at turn number 1. Lumi, though, actually took it seriously. He went for a start. NSR hit the wall, and then all of a sudden Lumi hits it, and then coming through was LMB, but they've got anti-collision on and park firm haze on. So, there, as you can see, the race result happening to you. We'll come back up to the commentary box, and I guess have a little bit of a fill as well, Omi, as we get the reset on. I've just seen Pesha in the chat says, I'm so glad there was a restart because he thought it was actually a real start. And then he saw all the drama happening. So not very well communicated between the drivers there, but we will go again. But let's just reflect on qualifying. Again, that was an insane lap time from Lumi. To pull out nearly 0.3 of a second at Monaco, that was fantastic. I mean, these guys, they're in tier 5 now, but they're not going to be there for long. They will go up quite quickly, and Lumi's one you've definitely got to keep an eye on for the future.
Yeah, considering you've had a driver that's below him in the championship in P2 that has got promoted, you have to question, could that be Lumi in a few moments' time as well if he continues being so consistent? Does he possibly have a place when it comes to the F4 tier, which has already been racing today and has already finished their qualifying and raced as well? So we hope that they had a great contest as well. But that's where the drivers want to end up, and then a progression into F3, then into F2, and then, I mean, hopefully they'll want to play it out with the big boys in F1 as well, tier 1, where they'll all want to try and be contenders there.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Just seeing how the year's been going, of course, across esports has been impressive. Everybody has said that it's a step up on the previous few years of games that we've had, but everybody very much, A, wants a new game engine, and B, just wants a bit more control over the actual glitches that keep happening as well. But, Omi, what have you been making of this new game cycle that we've been going into as well? We're a couple of weeks into it now. The game seemed to be very well received, and you yourself as well, just a few days ago, commented on a reverse layout race. So we're going in the right direction, I feel.
We are indeed. I think there's a few things to fix, of course, as there always is. I think if they could definitely add a bit more slipstream into the play. Now, last year's game, we had absolutely no dirty air being existent, really, which was quite unfortunate. So it meant that while the action was crazy, it was quite dramatic. So it's been basically a balance now where we've added in dirty air, but then it's got to a point where we have too much and there's not enough slipstream. So drivers are struggling to make those overtakes. A lot of them have been complaining about that. So there is still a lot of improvement to be had, I feel. But I mean, at least we've got dirty air. We just need a bit more slipstream, I think, is the perfect way to put it, from what the drivers have been reporting to us as well in these interviews, and what their feedback has been when it has come to social media as well.
Now, there's some things here in the chat saying that there's a few people saying, well, are we going to keep full wet Monaco? And then a couple of them are saying no. But we haven't had any confirmed by the lobby host right now, because if that was the weather going into qualifying, we have to keep it the same across the two. So I'm slightly worried that we're not going to have the wet race that we were promised. I mean, it's probably better for us only because we'll probably have a forecast to commentate on, and it won't be a DNF and then the race automatically ends and we all go home saying, oh, well, there you go, there's the race then. But we will see. So if it is wet weather, this is going to throw it up massively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we of course stayed and brought you. We of course brought you the first initial start to that race. Of course, we all love watching those, and I'm sure all of the viewers, you guys, absolutely love seeing that in progress as the lights go out and absolute chaos takes place on the circuit as well. But Joshua, we're going to take a look at the circuit once again, and here it is in our picture: 3.3 kilometers, 2.0 miles. really tight, and it can be tricky when it comes to the race.
Yeah, just the one DRS zone, that doesn't really become much useful. So it's the run up towards turn 5 and 6 that's really sort of a traction point. Just bring your attention down to the chicane. You see out of the sector 2 marking here as well. That's where the speed trap is. But it's a downhill braking, and drivers often just get it a little bit loose into the Nouveau chicane at turns 10 and 11. But that's also really the only opportunity for overtaking on the circuit. So yeah, it's not too bad as well as we're going to get back into it. Okay, so here we go then. It's time to get going. This time, let's see what the weather conditions are. I can't see any rain on the loadout screen that's coming through, but we'll see if this is going to be hot or not for PC Tier 5.
Yep, indeed. That is going to be the interesting one. How is the weather going to play out? Even if it's not wet for the start, how will it play out later on? That'll be the interesting question, but we're waiting and we're getting ourselves set and ready for what is going to be an interesting run down towards the Sanderot corner.
Down in towards turn 1 is going to be fun. Right, let's take a look then and load into the lobby and take a look at what's happening into the situation right now with the track. Well, Omi, it's dry, so already a disappointment to us.
Absolutely. Also, we're hearing Daniel Mass is being kicked out of the game, so we're going to await confirmation in terms of what now goes on here. He's joined back,
He's come back in.
But that'll be the interesting one. Was he able to load his setup, and what happened with that?
Okay, I'm going to say that we could be in for no restart. So he says he's in, but he's got the setup.
So he'll basically just miss the race start sequence, but then we'll be able to get himself back in immediately after that. So he just can't take control of the start. But it's not a restart because he loaded on his setup, and it'll just mean he misses the start and it doesn't affect him for the entire race.
Bad though for where he was starting on the grid as well, up the order. So this is not going to be too much of a upheaval as well. I don't know if this is going to be interesting, but okay. Well, just reading the messages that are coming through on the chat. As well, Alfie says about how he was 1.5 seconds up, but used tyres that will do. That's going to be interesting to come through.
So, it's now the wait. It's now the patience wait as we get ready. It will be quick, straight to the 5 red lights any second once the drivers have done their setups, their tyres, and all of those settings as well. Once they've all loaded that, and then they will press ready up, and we will be taken to the 5 red lights immediately. Can be quite quick, and it's basically a quick dash towards Sanderot as well. So it's quite tricky. It is quite tricky. It all happens very quickly.
So here we go then, coming through. We are still waiting because they're still trying to decide in the lobby about what's going to happen, which is bad news for us because Daniel Mass is on about wanting now to get a backup invite. So we'll wait and hold it through. We don't really want to go away from this screen too much in case we have a random start procedure that comes in quite quickly. So not everybody's readied up just yet. They are coming now. Here it comes. PC Tier 5 at Monaco. All 5 lights on. Action at Monaco. It's a good start from Lumi. NSR's going to come around the outside, but he's under attack from his teammate of Casper on the inside. Into Sanderot. Brilliant start from Lumi as they run up. He's already about 6 tenths ahead. There's a bodywork fly damage in the middle as well as Pesce's past Daniel Mass as he's now taking control of the car and he's taken control of me in the middle of a massive melee as they come through. Marco's up into 10th position ahead of Kraken, but Lumi leads by such a margin at the moment, and I'm disappointed to see that LMB's been struggling. He's now looking to the inside line as Marco's got back past, and the two in a battle in 9th and 10th at the moment. Awesome start.
Absolutely brilliant start. As you mentioned, Lumi exactly the getaway that he wanted. He's got an 8, very nearly 9 tenths advantage as we make our way down to the Nouvelle chicane. The Alpine still together at the moment as well. Then it's Vettel, and then we get Alfie, who is in P5, but quite a clean start considering what all of the talk was going on earlier on. Quite a clean start. We did have a bit of debris that was flying, but other than that, they all managed to make their way through.
So into the last cast for the first time. Lumi leads from NSR, Casper, Vettel, Alfie, Daniel Mass, Pesce, Marco, Washed, LMB, Kraken and Kumuri as well in 12th position, and down into the, Washed has come into the pit lane. Washed has come into the pit lane, so was the RB, the damage we saw being flicked up. Let's take a look then. Oh, the safety car's in the way. He's changing them into hard compound tyres. So he's taking off the softs, puts the hards on immediately as we rejoin our race leader. That could be more strategy coming through. And Omi, take us through then what's happened at the start of the race as we see Lumi still battling ahead.
Absolutely, as the race will continue, we'll take a look at what happened as the 5 red lights went out on the circuit, exactly what Lumi wanted. And then it'll be the Alpines momentarily side by side, not for too long. It gets very tight at Sanderot, they all managed to get through. Now I'm looking for some debris flying in the further back. We had a Red Bull side by side as well, so it was all action further behind. A bit of debris, which would have of course been the driver who found themselves coming into the pit lane as well. So it was probably Wash who maybe found himself with a bit of damage as well as he continues on. 1.1 second, 1 second now between first and second place, so they're doing well in terms of Lumi's doing well to keep the gap, but everyone's finding themselves flying into formation. Bit of ghosting there for NSR, so he's had a little clatter with the wall as Vettel is coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, so is Vettel going to take that same tyre strategy we saw that has Washed has done? Lumi's done a 112.631, LMB 112.606. It's the nose cone for Vettel that has been changed. So was it the Mercedes in the middle of the pack that had that drama? Well, we'll take a look later on as well with more news and action. But the two Alpines only still battling hard as we head down. Look at that. Casper's almost running to the back of NSR as well. It's getting quite comical. Alfie is right behind as well. This is tense stuff because it's second, third and fourth battling for critical points, as you mentioned at the top of the show. And NSR's rear tyres already, they're sliding everywhere.
Oh my word, the race has already started out to be dramatic. Lap number 3 only of this one. And Casper absolutely pushing his rival through the corners. But they've got Alfie in the Kicksauber company as well. So they've got to be careful. And it is Lumi trying to break clear and control things. You've got this battle that is going through your picture at the moment. And NSR doing well as well now to try pull away from the gap. Because it was really under serious threat. It was under dive bomb threat at the moment. And there we go. Casper's coming into the pit lane. Lots of drivers, along with Daniel Mass. Mass is in as well. Lots of drivers electing to come in, JB, as they try go for a different strategy. They try get the undercut.
Yeah, hard's going on then, and the Alpine here of Casper started on the medium compound tyres. Here is Pesce, he's put hards on now as well. The Williams in there too, of Daniel Mass onto hards. The only one now on soft compound tyres is Kraken. But Omi, something we really see in Formula 1 these days, all 3 tyre compounds currently in use. It very much was a different strategy, but it's a good idea. We see this a lot in Formula 2, that mean you cover IRL, about how you take the hard compound tyres as long as you possibly can in this race, because you don't want to run this softer mediums, because you just lose so much more time, and then you're holding everybody else up.
Monaco, always a strategy race, but it's been tense so far as we go through the Nouvelle chicane with our drivers who are in second and third. Bit of a gap further back to LMB as we've got the yellow flags flying. I think that was Mass. I think that was Mass with the moment as we see Wash who's in 12th position. Mass possibly had a moment because he dropped down a order, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Daniel Mass has had a bit of an oversight. I'm trying to see if there's any damage to that Williams. Nothing I can see at the moment. No end plates off as they fly out of the Nouvelle chicane towards the back. No, I think it looks fine now. I think. Oh no, there we go. There we go. There's something flying off the car now, and he's hit the back of the Ferrari.
Yeah, it's gone. The left end plate is gone. So it is all gone wrong as he's trying to make a move to the inside of the Rascas. And there might not be an end plate, but he's got through anyways. The Ferrari comes into the pit lane.
Yeah, into the pits comes Marco as well. So that's going to be a bit more dramatic to try and work out. I'd love to see a replay of that if we've got it as well in a short moment time. But there goes Marco coming in. Wash has been given a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as well.
Yep, let's take a look at that moment as well. The very close moment as we had them all battling their way through. Here we go, then through to back on the exit, and you're going to see them all clattering into the wall. And that's a penalty for the championship leader. The race leader out in front while we're showing you this replay of the move that happened. One Williams diving to the inside. The other one in the lead has a penalty to his name.
This is unbelievable. Luckily, though, it's only 3 seconds, and he's got 3.2 to NSR already. But if we get a late safety car, which is so often the case here at Monaco, that could really come a factor. Now, my question to you, Omi, is, as well as I return to my esport commentary role, is do we get to serve these penalties inside the pit lane, or are we going to have these post-race? I remember them being post-race.
Post-race still, you only get to serve certain ones for speeding in the pit lane or severe collision. You get to serve the 10-second and 5-second ones. You don't, unfortunately, get to serve the 3 seconds. So you're stuck with that all the way till the end of the race. So if the situation where we mentioned about the safety car happens, it could get quite interesting. Talking about interesting, Alfie pushing, nudging NSR through and running into the back of the Alpine momentarily.
Yeah, just a small little nudge. Didn't see any damage coming off. Look at NSR, the rear sliding. This will be a move and a half. Can Alfie get the traction down towards the Nouvelle chicane? NSR's blocking, but I think he's just a bit too far behind. But this battle is fantastic at the moment. One of the closest on the tracks, and Alfie certainly feels like he can push.
He absolutely does indeed. He knows that he has a chance to go for it, and that's exactly what is giving him this momentum, giving him the push around this circuit at the moment. You've had, remember, there's drivers around you that you're having to keep an eye on. Drivers who've already made pit stops as well. There's so much for these drivers to contend with, and a big nightmare for themselves and their engineers, and they'll all be assessing this situation.
Down we come then towards Saint-Avold before coming uphill. A bit of a snap there from the Alpine. Not a great exit either coming in from the Sauber as they run up the hill. You just saw behind Daniel Mass. Time penalty for multiple warnings already coming through. So 3 drivers having 3-second penalties. And I've got a feeling, that we might have this towards the end of the race where it's a question of we have to do mental gymnastics.
Yeah, absolutely. We might need to indeed at the moment if this one continues in the way it is, because you're going to get drivers earning themselves penalties and then some also getting to the 6 seconds. I've done a race as well for WOR around this circuit for Tier 4 in the past, and that was exactly the case where we had a situation where lots of drivers were getting themselves penalties and it came down to penalties as well. But don't be surprised if there is any safety cars in the middle of this race as well. And yes, we've had a dry start, but there's no inkling on whether the weather will remain dry or could there be anything late on in the race as well. So many question marks.
Yeah, nothing coming back through, nothing from the drivers' chat either because, well, they're all racing. But usually when they come into the pit lane, we see a little bit of messages coming through. They like to automate the pit stops. But it's become so much, Jeremy, hasn't it, that the driver gets much more control over the pit stops these days as well. It came in a couple of game cycles ago. You can now turn into the pit lane, control the exit more, and it really feels more F1. I personally can't wait for the day where we have the opportunity where you can just control everything, even coming back into the pit lane after the checkered flag. We deserve, like we have in other simulation games, the chance to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed, a chance to celebrate, and the drivers need it because this is high competitive. When you're running at the levels, when you're running at the margins that are right now you're watching as well, of Vettel absolutely nudging, trying to find a gap to the inside line. He's going to go. It'll be neck and neck only for a moment. The Mercedes inches ahead and damage contact for Mass, who was trying to keep his foot to the floor, but he's gone into the wall, losing a bit of the front wing end plate there, and Vettel goes through.
I'd love to get a replay of that. We're getting ready. Our producer's lighting it up as well. He's already on it. Josh Turner's in the production house tonight for us being our director, and he's got it all under control. Let's take a look back then at that moment, Naomi, because it was quite something. Side by side, up Beaurivage towards Massenet. But again, Vettel just had the traction, and unfortunately, nothing from Daniel.
Yeah, of course, how the corner works, it can get really tight. It really closes in, and the Williams, unfortunately, left vulnerable. And we're having side-by-side as well in live pictures.
But again, NSR's defending massively from Alfie coming up the hill. It's like we're watching Formula E rather than Formula 1 cars at Monaco. This is proof you can do it. You've just got to have the gumption as they come down into Mirabeau once more. Kraken's dropped behind Daniel Mass again, so now he's dropped down. He's coming to the pits. So there we go. So Kraken's into the pit lane. Let's stay with the action now on our running order. He's gone to medium compound tyres. Now, can Alfie get a good exit out of the tunnel and down towards the Nouvelle chicane? I think it's just a bit too far back, Omi, but that braking zone is so critical.
Absolutely, it is critical indeed into the Nouvelle chicane, and exactly what we were mentioning with the celebrations and how it's so tense as well that these drivers absolutely do get and deserve to celebrate after the race finishes. Brilliant shots as they make their way through. 5 tenths, 4 tenths is the gap, continuing to fluctuate as they run very close to each other. And this is, well, one of the more interesting races. Who says Monaco's boring? I think I'm absolutely loving this more than a lot of the other races I've done on this game. This is absolutely fantastic.
Forget game, I'm coming back from IRL into esports. I'm having more fun than we did yesterday in touring cars and not kill. This is fantastic. Up the hill once again as Daniel Mas gets a further 3-second time penalty. That makes it 6. As look at the slide from NSR. The medium compound tyres have got to take something out of it. Now, here comes Vettel trying to have a go on Pesce up towards turn number 1. Can he do a move once again, Omi, as he comes up the hill?
That'll be the question. Let's see. He's been in this position before. He'll be trying to use some of the battery, trying to get closer to the Red Bull car that is directly in front of him at the moment. So, not the same trick at Massenet corner. So, it'll have to be follow closely and see whether there's a chance out of the tunnel into the Nouvelle chicane. That could be an opportunity. What about at the hairpin? You can see he's going for that wide line, trying to get the cut back.
Oh, this would be impressive if he can do it in Portier. Look at him. It's like Nigel Mansell on Ayrton Senna. He's all over the back of him at the moment. Vettel gets the inside line. Pesce was just a little bit out of shape. Through the tunnel we go. Down towards the Nouvelle chicane. He's all over the back of him. A lunge up the inside would not be out the realms of possibility, but Pesce's got it defended. It's like I'm watching 1992.
It is tight margins, and we've let the drivers loose, and they're absolutely brawling around this venue right now as well. Such close margins. We haven't even talked about our race leader for a while. He's got a 7.1 second advantage. He's dominating things and letting it all unfold behind as well. And Vettel, after having such a offset on this lap, still hasn't been able to displace and get by on Pesce, who's the driver who finds himself 6th place when it comes to our Drivers' Championship.
One thing I'm also not noticing, Omi, is that everybody so far is keeping within the track limits. I've not seen one driver so far that we've been on board with cut that lap time, but we've only got 3 who've done it. Out of the 12, that's impressive. 1/4 of the race strategy can do it.
Absolutely. We had a lot of track limit issues in qualifying. When we got to the end of it, they could all push on. Marco's retired. That's in the pit lane, is it? Or is it at the final corner? Because he's stationary. He's not moving in the pit lane.
Can we... Yeah, there we go. Already got through. I can't see a car down there at the final corner, so we have gone green, and Lumi's coming into the pit there. Well, that was some opportunistic timing for cameras as well. So Marco is out of the race for Ferrari. Lumi's coming in. He's got 3 seconds on the clock, so that'll be added to his final race time. But what's he going to do to take over at the front? It's onto the hards. We expected that one, Omi.
Yep, onto the hards indeed for Lumi, who's going to be released. He's going to be directly released behind the Alpine and the McLaren, so it's going to get tight as LMB and Casper will go through. But Lumi, there you see him in the background, he could be coming out to a bit of this traffic and have to deal with some passes and overtaking. Talking about overtaking, we're very close to one, but no line opens up. Can Vettel try get the exit and do what he's done before and make a move into Massenet?
Oh, yes, he can! Round the outside! That's going to be bold! It's brave! It's beautiful! Vettel goes through on Pesce. That was brilliant! Side by side, coming through the casino square, and he's blocked it off, coming down into the hairpin as well. Fabulous move over. Let's take another look at that in a few moments' time, Omi, because that was just brilliant stuff. Let's go now. Oh, and Alfie's got a time penalty for multiple warnings, and there's a brief yellow sector 2. It's gone green. Go on, Omi.
Here we go. This was the moment. You can see Vettel was closing in. It was very clear from his body language that he was going to try and make this move. He went all the way around the outside, used the grip, and that is how you overtake on the streets of Monte Carlo. Every overtake that we see today is special, and there's another one that we can add to the list.
Meantime, Pesce's dropping back into the pit lane. Has come LMB. Alfie with that time penalty at the front. So in he comes. Changes over from medium to medium. That's a bold call. That's interesting. He's going for a 2-stopper this afternoon. Medium to medium.
He is indeed. Wow, absolutely. Side by side for the lead momentarily. And that's Casper, who's been passed by Lumi.
So Lumi's done the undercut, he's got back out ahead, and now that's going to be Casper really in trouble for later on in this strategy of the racing to come through. So I love...
Indeed. As they make their way through, I think we've lost Josh Roberts for a moment. We'll get him back in a second. Casper, though, continuing on. The driver 1.2 seconds away from Lumi after Lumi was able to fight his way by. So Lumi, a driver who found himself as a contender. What a race it is turning out to be. What a race we are currently seeing as well. It has been dramatic from start all the way till lap number 13. That is the distance that we are on right now. As meanwhile, Kraken, 1 point. He's getting very close, and he's got a penalty. So Kraken's got a penalty as he tries to get close and he tries to pass the driver off Washed as well. So he's trying to be a contender. Meanwhile, Lumi finds himself getting the fastest lap of the race. So that is quite dramatic stuff. And dropping down the order, yellow flags, Washed with a moment. Washed with a moment. It looks like he's found himself with an issue down on the exit of the swimming pool chicane, Joshua Birch.
Yeah, he's got just a little bit loose to come into it. So it's just a little bit loose out of it. Sorry about that. Microphone gave up. It was too much for my voice as well. I agree with what our chat's been saying. Wing change coming through as well as the mic just sort of gave out. But still, Alfie is out! Out goes Alfie! What? No! Alfie is out of the race! And that could be a safety car. He's gone off in the barrier. We've gone back to green. So he avoided, but Alfie is out of the race. He's gone off down at turn 4.
Oh, you have to feel for a driver that was doing so well. And talking about doing well, can LMB try and make an overtake? He's closing in at a rapid rate into Nouvelle. No, because we've not got a car to the side of us at the moment as we watch Mass, and Mass is going to stay ahead. But there we go. Now we can get a shot of the McLaren getting closer into Tabac. You don't do anything there. We now cut to another fight of Pershi, who's now getting himself close and trying to find a way through into Anthony Nose. He's got the nose in there. NSR makes the move and gets through.
Will there be a cutback? We'll see later on, because look at the inside as well. Mass under pressure now from LMB. And Mass gets back ahead. The McLaren has DRS in towards turn number 1 and can't get the inside line. Up the hill we go. More action, more drama. Surely not. Left, right, left again. Can't find a way through. And that is superb defending from Daniel Mass. And LMB, superb driving. It's been the favourite line tonight. Outside of Massenet. Bouncing off the barriers is Daniel Mass. And it's still getting all wrong down into the mirror boat. This is amazing, Omi.
Yep, it was so tight for so long, and then it finally got to contact. You can see the end plate damage that Mass is currently sustaining, and it got contact. It was contact as they arrived down at Mirabeau, and now you can see the next driver, Kaken, is there to try and challenge as well. But let's review that moment before we see anything else, because that was unbelievable.
Fantastic run up the hill. As I was saying, it was left and right. As off goes Daniel Mass, getting into the time penalty on the live camera. But Omi, this was brave and a half.
Around the outside, we've seen it before. A bit of tie hooking as they were making their way through. The Williams sent to the wall. And then this is where the contact happens because he tries to outbrake. But the McLaren's placed in the middle, so there's not a direct way through. And then he kind of finds himself in this awkward position as into the pit lane now comes Mass.
Oh, don't do what I think you're going to do and retire from the race, mate. You've got enough time. Just be out there for fun. I've got a feeling he might be, with that. Is it 9 seconds on the board he's got now? That'll be insane. He's changing over tyres and a new front wing going on. He's on now. Yeah, he's 9 seconds. Wing goes on again. You're inside the points, mate, so stay where you are. Do not go. Do not retire. Everybody scores tonight at Monaco. Luck be a lady. This night race has certainly been the glitz and glamour.
Yep, I mean, there's a reason why lots of these drivers are here. Not everyone, but the majority of people, of course, struggle around the circuit of Monaco, but a lot of drivers have just been like, right, let's go out there, let's drive, let's just score some points. If we keep it out of the wall, we're going to give ourselves a good opportunity of that, and that's exactly what they are doing right now at the moment of this 39-lap race. We're on lap number 17. We've just ticked onto with our race leader, Lumi, who's been our race leader for so long as well, and he's been doing so well, as right now we're taking a look at the Alpines as they make their way through.
Yeah, NSR was sliding coming out of Anthony Nogues. He's kept the car in traction. Now, as I was mentioning earlier on as well, the setup... Oh, no, Kamari's got that 3-second penalty on the board, so more drivers getting it. So that might actually help Daniel Mass if he can get ahead of him. That's only 6 seconds, but he's 21 seconds back as things currently stand. Through the casino square, the driver's still losing out on the rear tyres. Lumi leading then, and you can see Casper's moved up 1 place from the start. NSR's dropped 1. Biggest winner though, Kamari up 3. Daniel sadly down 5, but it's 2 apiece coming from Pesce, LMB, and Kraken. And that is exactly what we like to see, because you can overtake here at Monaco. Daniel must do the 2-stop, but we already know that's one of the drivers going to have to do another 2-stopper, because that would be, from memory, that's LMB, who has only put the medium to medium. So he's got to go back and run a set of either soft or hard compound tyres in this race.
Absolutely, and who knows, we could definitely find ourselves with a situation where we also possibly get a lot of other drivers electing for that as well, especially if there is any interruptions in this race later on. But what a contest it has been so far, as NSR will make his way around the final corner and tick on to another lap, the 18th lap of the race. We now enter. The gaps have formed in the field as the strategy begins to come into play as well. What a dramatic race, and now it's going to be looking good definitely for this second half that we are about to enter.
What I just loved about NSR was the 11s he left coming out of Saint Devot. It was so visible on the game as well, with the rubber being let down. It was quite impressive to see. He's messed that one up a bit down at the chicane as well. Hooked up the curb and didn't get it in too right. Lumi leads by 10 seconds, but he has a 3-second time penalty. Kamari's into the pits once more, so he drops into 9th position, and NSR's disconnected. Oh no, that man running in 3rd position is disconnected, and Vettel, look at his time, gaining. So Vettel's going to get another easy pass here. Can he reconnect ASAP? He's ghosted at the moment, but he has joined, and don't rejoin until after the swimming pool section, otherwise you'll be in the wall. But we should be go soon. Come on, when are we going to be in? Green. No, Vettel's going to go for him. This is like watching cat and mouse. Vettel's literally inside him. He's gone through, and now NSR has lost a position due to that disconnect. Vettel's gone literally through him.
Absolutely, literally gone through. But now, can the Red Bull do so as well in time? Or are we going to be having NSR back? We will hope that we do, and we do. We do in the background as well, as Everett, who was watching on with the rest of us, now has also left the lobby, but he's already out of the race, so that is fine as well. But, I mean, this race continues to give. Unfortunately, not the best of luck heading some drivers' way tonight, though.
Well, we are precisely halfway, 19 and a half laps into the Monaco Grand Prix for PC Tier 5. And this is just another example of how chaotic and wild Monaco can be. Lumi leads, but with a 3-second time penalty from Casper. One more with Vettel, who's now running in 3rd position. And they're all still going to be on the traction time. He's come in towards the chicane. Oh, did he bounce the barrier? Wow, he did bounce the barrier. Unbelievable from Vettel. Just on the inside. So they're pushing to the limit, Omi. And this is another thing. Fatigue gets to you quite quickly at Monaco. We're only doing a 50% race distance, but the eSport drivers, you get tired. You start to get a little bit of muscle ache. And trying to just dial in is not good. Tyres must have played a factor because Vettel's in.
Vettel is in, indeed. And he is going to find himself now coming into the pit lane. Percy finds himself also diving it in as well. So 2 pit stops happening at the same time. We'll let this pit stop phase happen. As you can see, Casper's also improved the position of his grid spot. LMB and Kraken have done so as well. They're both up 4. So it's been quite the ebbing and flowing race, hasn't it, as well? But Lumi, though, JB, just maintaining position. He's had a few hurdles. Oh no, he's out! He's out! Lumi's out of the race, the championship leader!
He's hit the wall coming into the chicane. I do not believe it. We were riding live with him, and now Casper will go through him and take the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix, and he is delighted with himself. Unbelievable. Just the smallest of mistakes has put the championship leader in the wall.
Wow, that is unbelievable stuff. And that is day over. That is the margins. It was so perfect. Let's take a look at it again. The moment which has seemed to have decided today's contest. And Lumi finds himself turning in for Nouvelle. Hits the inside, clipping of the wall. And that is going to be him out. Day over.
Unbelievable as well. Right. Let's go through the field as this has been going on. We have lost the championship leader. So Casper has taken the lead and he's up 2 places on his grid spot, but does have to stop again because he's on the hard tyres, but they are not going to last to the end of this race distance. Starting where he is now currently running is NSR in the 2nd Alpine, a 1-2 tonight, Omi, and this is a great result for the team for the Constructors' Championship.
Absolutely. LMB, as we see NSR hit the wall momentarily as they drift their way by. LMB up 5 places. You had Vettel, who's also gone up 1 as well. You can see Kraken has moved up 4. Percy, 6th place in the championship, up a position as well. He's in 6th. Their Massa's lost out. And we've had Kurumi up 3. Now, lots of these drivers would have, of course, improved places due to the retirements we saw, but we were about to run you through the entire field and talk about how much of a great race is NSR.
Oh,
NSR with
not
a
again.
moment, and he's disconnected as our race leader comes in. We were about to talk about Lumi and all of his dominant drive, but then that moment happened as we come into the pit lane.
And this could be a glitch because if you're automatically disconnected, the cars come into the pit lane at the end of the following lap. So is NSR going to be in a bit of trouble here to come through again? Can't see. No, he's gone round. Good. So it wasn't this lap he was scheduled to pit because we have that bug, Omi, don't we? As LMB's going to take second position. If you're scheduled to come into the pit lane on this or the next lap, you lose out if you disconnect and you just pit. And it just causes a whole world of issues.
And that's why you've got to be in quickly, like he's done. So he's just got to load back in the lobby now, and then that should be all okay for him. But, of course, he's going to be just hoping to do so before Casper gets to him. You can see the Alpine driver who's just come in for a pit stop directly in behind. What a race this is as well. Mass picking up a 3-second time penalty when it comes to track limits as well. NSR is going to lose a position as there's going to go Casper, who's going to go through his teammate. And now NSR rejoins and is basically side by side very nearly, but now has to back out as well as we go through the tunnel.
Pierre Gasly called. He said, yep, that happened to me with Esteban Ocon last year. Look at him, he's sliding at the rear, so he's come back literally. If you ever wanted to be thrust into the middle of battle, that is what happened. Side by side with your teammate at Monaco in the tunnel is not where you want to be as well. I must admit, brilliant camera work from our producer tonight of JT, who caught that. If we didn't do through the field at that very point, we'd have missed the championship leader retiring from the race. Cracking work, JT. Again, an example of why producers should be the standard. As into the pit lane comes NSR, Omi, for another set of tyres. He's going to have to put on another set of mediums. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. So we go back into the fast lane. Hassel waiting down there as well for Kraken, who's coming into the pit lane. So 2 pit stops coming in at once over to the crew. And it's going to be him getting released back into the fast lane now and back out onto the circuit. Looking at the map, though, he is going to find himself with Kurumi arriving on the screen. Kurumi getting by. So he's going to rejoin in the last running position at the moment.
Battle for second brewing now as well between Casper and Vettel. And Vettel, no stranger to overtaking in interesting positions at the moment. And how has LMB taken the lead of the race? It was Casper pitting. Yeah. That's how he did it, yeah. LMB's on 2 sets of mediums, so he's going to stop again.
He will indeed. That's currently how it's playing out. But Vettel, who we've seen have some prowess up to Massenet as well, of course, in Formula 2 last year. Ollie Behrman, Kimi Antonelli, that's the part of the circuit where they battled their way through. And it's getting super tight on the exit there.
This is going to be close. Now, I'm putting money on. As into the pit lane comes LMB. So this now becomes the battle for the lead of the race. I'm putting money on Vettel doing another run here round the outside. But surely Casper's been stream watching us. He's seen what Vettel's done here today. Is it going to be another defense? This is literally seat of your pants racing, but he's too far back this time.
Too far back as well. LMP's gone on to the hard compound of tyres. Bit of a twitch there as he tried to stand on the power with Casper as he's making his way through. You can see Vettel closes in. Vettel closes in as the Alpine runs wide, and every single moment it's a bit of a misjudgment. It's opening the door. You can see Vettel ghosted momentarily. That is how tight he's getting to the walls, that the game is basically ghosting him at the moment.
Over we go then towards the Nouvelle chicane. You don't want to have contact at this opportunity. Casper's going defensive. Is Vettel going to find a way through? We've got a yellow flag and Vettel's hit the wall! He's done exactly the same! And out comes the safety car! It's such a hard hit! Vettel's out of the race and we've got a safety car!
Dramatic stuff as well at the moment. Virtual for the moment. We'll see whether the full safety car gets deployed. They can sometimes upgrade it. Of course, no graphic coming on our screen, but the map being fully lighted. We can't see a dot at the moment for a safety car, so we're going to wait. But it might be a safety car. Who knows? We'll see in a second. Vettel, though, out of the race. We saw the yellow flags before we even saw the moment there.
Yeah, the yellow flags are ahead of the crash that happened. As, we're migrating host. Vettel's the host, and Vettel is disconnected. Well, he's not allowed to do that, even if he retires. So let's take that replay if we can.
I think the lobby might have broken. Who knows?
Oh, we've got a. Yes, you can come up to the commentary box. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. We'll just move that camera back down. Well, Vettel's left the session, and I hope he's forgot that he's the host, and it's crashed everything. We've got a red flag. red flag is out. So I think we're going to restart for 25% race distance. And now the question is, Omi, can those who retired rejoin the race?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the question. I would doubt it, but we'll see. We'll see. It will be down to the regulations and what they decide to do. Stick with us. I think we are still going to find ourselves with a contest because we still got a long way to go. 25% I think we'll have. And we'll get another race start as well. How about that? It'll be 5 red lights when we resume. But, well, I mean, the game unfortunately has this thing where Vettel, like all of the other drivers, he's had a bad day. He's just binned it into the wall. What he wants to do is go on, leave.
Oh, Lumi wants to be in. Now, this is interesting. Sorry to cut across you. Lumi wants to come in. So it's going to have to check the rules now, because if we are having a lobby restart, those who have crashed might be able to restart. But do we go on the original grid, or do we? I hope we go on the results as it was at the end of the last complete lap. It is a red flag, so it's a one. They're talking about a one-stop 25% race, and I think the fairest thing to do, Omi, would be to restart the race with the grid order as what it was before the red flag, because Lumi, he had DNF'd, he made the error, and he was out of the race.
Wow, absolutely. Okay, we've got a replay as well to entertain us as we await as well for the action to resume. So this is what we had earlier on. As well.
Here we go.
But this was the moment where we were battling down to the Nouvelle chicane, and Vettel, exactly what Lumi did, hit the inside wall.
Yeah, he just took the tyre off it, and that was more dramatic actually as well. Now, don't be concerned with the live graphic that's going on alongside us. That is the situation that's happening with the lobby restart procedure. But he took the wheel off completely there. I mean, it bounced back up into the cockpit. That was mad.
It was absolutely unbelievable. Well, what a day we've had. What a day we've had. Definitely one of the more chaotic races. Now remember, everyone has, so we have an option. We could do a 25% or we could do a 35%. So they're discussing all of the options. They're discussing where do we do the grid from? Can drivers who retired get themselves back in? It's an absolute mess at the moment as we try and sort this out. Our producer has just put in the order as well to use. A little clap for our producer as well, has made this entire stream possible. I know this tier in specific has wanted a stream for so long, so it's great to be able to give them this. And well, I think we've picked a good day as well, Jamie, to do so.
I'm with you on this. Monaco was dramatic. So at the time of the red flag, it's interesting because Vettel had DNF'd, but when he left the server, he was in 5th position on that DNF. So there'll be discussions now whether or not he goes back into what would be 8th position, because there was at the time 7 cars running, and it was Casper leading, from Pesce in 2nd, NSR was in 3rd, LMB in 4th, Vettel 5th, but the red flag came out, so we'll question mark him. Daniel Mass was in 6th, Kamari in 7th, Kraken was 8th, but out was Lumi, Alfie, Washed, and Marco. But let's also remember that Daniel Mass had 12 seconds of penalties, Kamari had 3, as did Kraken. So would it be fair to start Daniel Mass at the back of the complete grid, then all the drivers who DNF'd in that order, and put Kamari and Kraken into what would be 5th and 6th position?
Yeah, honestly, this is quite a mess to work out, because it's like, how do the penalties get applied that the drivers have already earned as well? Are they going to just apply that if they don't move people on the grid? Then are they just going to apply that later on? Do we have to count the ones that we saw earlier on? It's going to be an absolute mess, we can tell you. But if you're a viewer and you want to see entertainment, this is exactly the place to be at the moment. Because right now, we know that we're probably getting a race underway in a few moments' time, a resumption. But what grid? What are all the scenarios that we'll be seeing as well? It is so dramatic. It is all happening. Unbelievable stuff.
I think they're all confused in the chat. I think the solution I came up with was quite good. So if somebody tell them just to rewind the stream, explain what I said, just let them see what I said, and just to do that, because there's no rule on this. It's very unprecedented that we have a red flag come out and go through to what's happening. I tell you what, though, while we do have this red flag and the question mark over whether this race is going to restart or not, if we're going to have a 25 or 35% race distance, red flags came out on lap 24 of 39. So we're not yet at the cutoff time. So 25% race would be the most logical resumption to go in for a restart procedure. If possible, I'm going to ask our producer to take a look at the the calendar for this year, Omi, because we have not had a chance yet to look at it. So here you go, Omi.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the calendar for you as well. As we mentioned, we've been through the opening 4 rounds. We are currently at Monte Carlo, the console tiers, by the way. The second date that you can see on it, that will be the console tiers that will also be getting to race. They go out there on Thursday. We'll be heading to Baku, from Monaco to Baku, next time out as well. And that'll be after a week break, by the way. So we'll have a week break, then we'll return for Baku, and then it will be Silverstone Circuit, followed by Imola, that'll be round 8. And then it will be Japan, round 9, and our season finale. Our season will conclude, as do many championships, as do many leagues, at Abu Dhabi as well. Under the lights, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be quite chaotic. It's going to be amazing to watch, and hopefully we'll see a championship fight that goes all the way down, JB, to that 10th and final round.
This is interesting now because under 10 is cancelled, so Vettel is saying, and at the time of the red flag it was 7, but this is not a start to the race, this is a restart to the race. So this should be interesting, because it's not a new race, it's a resumption of the race to come through. And well, this is what happens when we get the situation where the host leaves and everything goes through. It's created the problem, and it doesn't help. So apparently, it doesn't count as a new race. We're literally on the fly now to go into it. Round 5, halfway stage of the season, a championship on the line for many people with points. And I've never seen such confusion, because this is the first time, I think, Omi, I've come across this so late in the race, where we've had red flags before, usually about lap 2, lap 3, when there's clearly an issue in the game, we need to stop it, restart it, go again. I've never come across when we're on lap 24, the host has crashed out of the race, he's left the lobby, everyone goes black screen, the red flag comes out, and then we're all arguing, are we restarting? It's crazy.
It's an absolute mess as well. I think we'll, of course, our producer will get ourselves in the lobby, and then we'll be able to also show you as well later on in terms of what the amount we are looking at in terms of people who are racing, what is going on. It's an absolute brawl out there in the chat, as you would expect, because of course some drivers are basically, they're all brawling over what rules we have available to us. Some are like, okay, if the drivers who retired, then what are we meant to do when it comes to when it comes to, of course, the drivers as well? The rule that comes in where that you need to have a certain amount of drivers for race. Some are trying to suggest if we don't bring people back, then it's basically a cancellation anyway. So it's going to be dramatic. We'll see how it is all going to play out, and they're all arguing over everything as well at the moment.
This is mental, absolutely. Now, I don't know if we don't restart this race, Naomi. I would assume that the race would go under the points positioning, that the race was not completed, but everyone would still get championship points because we did complete races.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite dramatic. It's been quite a dramatic day when it's come to the racing, quite a dramatic day when it has come also to waiting around as well. JB, you've got the points as well if we do go into a scenario where we don't resume.
Yes, we do. So we've completed half race distance. So we now have, if we do not resume this race, half points will be awarded, where first we'll get 19, second we'll get 14, third 12, fourth 9, 5, 8, 6 would get 6, 7 would get 5, 8 would get 3, 9 would get 2, and 10 would get 1. So that's the positioning for half points if this race does not resume. We've completed 50%. That's been done. Now the argument is, are we completing the last percentage of the race to go from the 25, 18, 15? So this is just a confusion and a half right now.
As you've got Luke, who's suggesting that the race results should be taken for lap 23. Okay.
You did more than 50%. So I think if we have done half the race, so 19 points would restart. Now Luke's here in the chat saying not half points.
Okay, hold on. We're still
reduced points.
There we go.
So it's not going to be the 19, 14, so it's going to be reduced points. So I don't think we're getting a restart. Luke is coming in and he said we've done more than 50% of the race, but not 75% of the race. So half points don't apply. So we go into that sort of grey area that we have, where we have reduced point segments coming in. So this is going to be an interesting one. I don't think we're going to restart. We're not going to have a restart.
There we go.
It's over. Race is over. The race will not be restarted. Well, the big boss has come in. I'd love to get Luke in the chat to explain that to us and come into the call. But yeah, at the moment, Omi, that's it. Game over.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I guess what we needed is you've got an argument between all of the drivers going on what we do. You needed someone who knows the rules, who knows everything, to come in and basically explain that. Okay, so the order we've got for lap 23 is we've got Casper in first, LMB in second, Vettel in third, so that's right, we'll get onto him in a second, Hershey in fourth, NSR in fifth, Mass in sixth, Kurumi in seventh, and Kraken in eighth. But of course, the interesting one being Vettel is the one that's saved because it's taken a lap before.
The red flag rule means that you get that the lap before, so Casper will be the victor of this event. LMB second, Vettel third. I assume, though, it must be a penalty for him for causing the red flag and then not completing the race. There has to be something in the rules for that, because he's put this in the situation where we're now out of position.
Yeah, and I think hopefully there is. Of course, the rules will be assessed, the rules will be looked at. But I think considering that the driver who's going to capitalize with it being a lap down, also of course caused that thing with of course him not realizing that what would happen to the lobby had he left. Which of course, fair enough. You have drivers who've done all of the hard work and then a crash comes in. So yeah, absolutely going to be interesting. Some more conversations are going on, JB, in the chat.
Yeah, it gets mad here because this red flag and the restart, LMB hadn't done his second stop then. So he hasn't done the two-stop rule because he was on medium to medium strategy. Hadn't yet put the hards on. But the red flags come out and it's the last complete lap. It wasn't his fault. In the aborted timeline of the race, he did come into the pit lane and he did change tyres. So he's done the spirit of that rule. But yeah, it's gone mad. So there's going to be a judgment call tomorrow about more information, so keep across the WOR Discord for all of the news on that front. But the latest we have here is that the race will not be resumed. The red flag has come out due to a lobby host disconnection and everyone getting a black screen. Race results taken from the end of lap 22, start of lap 23, which would put Casper as our race winner, LMB second, Vettel third, having caused that red flag, still gets a podium, Pesce in fourth, NSR fifth, Daniel in sixth, Kamari seventh, and Kraken in eighth. At this point in the program, we would say, let's get some interviews, but I think if we bring in some of the drivers, swearing might be a lot of problems. As well to come into it. But if we go end of 22, start of 23, that puts LMB as the race winner. We're now being told. So
we're not done yet.
This has changed massively again. So our producer's gone back. This is the frame at the end of and the start of lap 22-23. It puts LMB as the race leader, Casper second, and Vettel just passing NSR, who had come into the pit lane. So this is still not over, Amy. The results are completely out of order. I would say this now would require a different runaround. This would have to be the stewards have to step in here. And they are stepping in.
Yeah, Luke already coming in. It's quite that scenario which no one would have wanted, but we've got, and you sometimes get that across the season as well. But my word, what a day we've had on circuit, off circuit as well, and it has been quite dramatic. Let us know your thoughts, of course, in the live chat of what you've made of all of this as well as we continue to wait, because we're, of course, going to wait until we get official word in terms of what they're actually doing with these results as well. But yeah, so we're being told the two-stop thing does not matter. Okay, that's an interesting thing. So the two-stop thing does not matter.
I would love to just talk to our producer to see, has he got some replays that we can look at during this time? I would love to see the moment the race leader crashed out again, if that's possible. But everybody at the moment is busy to come through. Lovely. Let's go. I'd love to just take a look through some of the best moments as well throughout the race. All the replays once again and show that to you while we're waiting for timings coming in. Vettel, oh dear, the chat is going mad in the PC Tier 5 at the moment as well, because Vettel's got that podium and nobody wants him to keep P3 because it's just unfair. Right, okay. we'll have that replay for you at the moment that the race leader retired from the race, and that'll come up shortly. You can see that we're just waiting around as well in the other lobby on the restart screen. But Omi, it was a mad race, and I think what I want to come back on for me, it's just utter chaos. And it all really did start with our race leader having that accident down at the Nouvelle Chicane, touching the barrier, and it all sort of spiraled from there.
Absolutely. It has been just that day. Now, as we wait, by the way, if anyone was waiting yesterday for the WOR Tier 1 race, that got cancelled, unfortunately, due to attendance. So everything's been pushed back, and there'll be more news on social media coming up for you. But next week, or this week rather now, as it's, of course, we ticked onto Monday, we will be getting going, and we will be also racing at Suzuka. So there will be more news to follow, but this week you can expect Tier 1 to go racing at Suzuka circuit. Of course, you'll have the Consulteers tomorrow. You'll have, of course, the Team Championship tomorrow as well. We have Consulteers on Thursday. So there's quite a bit of action to try and keep an eye on. Okay, I think we've got the replay ready as well for us at the moment. So we're going to be able to show you that. Here we go, full screen for you as well. So this was a vital moment. So we were seeing some pit stops come in, JB. We're going to look to the race leader, and we're going to look to him finding the barrier as well in a few moments.
Yeah, and this was the thing. We cut to him, now down to the braking zone, hits the bump, rear steps out, and just knocks off the front suspension on entry.
Yeah, and day over. Day over. So Luke's going to look at the rules, by the way, as well, in regards to things. But let's look at it again. We're of course we have all the time to show you this right now in the world.
Oh, look at it.
The inside, oh my word.
It's literally just, it's pointing towards the barrier, and you can see it coming, and at this point, you know you've made the error on turning, don't you?
Yeah, so it's going to be, it's quite chaotic. Okay, well, we'll analyze this for you even more as well. My
Just
word.
Look, on the entry, look, you can already see he's off the racing line. He's taken it in too much. Let's take a zoom in on it as well, because the actual racing line is just before those other two black lines, and he's just taken it off the inside front, and you can see the wheel literally hanging off on the replay camera. Just so unfortunate to come in like that as well on the graphic. Let's take a look at it once more time on zoom in. Oh, it's narrow, isn't it? Absolutely narrow. So we're going to play it through on Zoom for you to take a look. Here he comes down the braking zone, and just watch this.
Oh, day over. Simple. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, that was quite a major part of the race, but JB, somehow it wasn't the biggest moment of the race, because of course then we had something going which just completely transformed it, so we didn't even get a finish.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that as well in a second if we can. But because it was just absolutely mad about how we had just a simple tap into the wall, and he's disconnected, and he's caused this problem. So there's chats going on right now that this might not be the final result. I'm trying to keep up with this chat. At one point, it's quite hard to come through. Because it is quite mad about how everything's happening. It's just, honestly, it's just going through. Lucas said he's going to deal with all tomorrow with the stewards. So it might be the end of lap 24 because everyone's done their 2 stops. So right now, we don't know who's won the event. And Daniel Master just said that he's put a plankton gif eating the popcorn. It's pretty similar to what I'm having right now.
Oh.
Let's take a look at the moment that caused the red flag, though, Omi, and talk us through it, because he was battling for the race lead here at this point with Casper.
We were about to get quite shouty to your speakers in a few moments as we were getting close in this battle, and then all of a sudden we still got shouty, but for a different reason, because Mattel hit the inside wall similar to what we saw Lumi, but then just a bit more of a dramatic impact, wasn't it? A bit more of a dramatic impact we saw, and we're going to zoom it in. We're going to analyze it in detail for you as well with this incident. Another dramatic moment, and another one of big consequence, to a point where it has dictated this entire race.
Right, let's freeze it then and take a look at the zoom in at the moment of accidents. Watch as that front tyre bounces back up on entry. That's just insane about how much velocity. He hit it much harder than our championship leader did.
He did. And yeah, as you can expect, then leaves the lobby. Now I did see something in chat as well. As you mentioned, we're trying to keep up with this, but Luke was questioning, is this the second time that this has happened? So of course, we haven't brought you any streams of the tiers so far this season. So if it has happened before, then yeah, interesting to see what they actually make of it and what they do this time around. Because if it has happened where we've had this exact scenario and we've only done 5 rounds, I think there will definitely be question marks asked, and there will definitely be a bit of a discussion around this whole thing.
This is completely confusing me right now. At this point, obviously, the drivers right now are in a discussion with our race directors about what is going to happen. Vettel is somehow saying that Lumi should be the race winner because he was P1 before the lobby crash. But Lumi crashed out of the race. It wasn't him. It was Casper leading before the crash.
Yeah,
so,
I think they're all joking around now. I think they're all just playing around.
I hope so, because that's going to be very much Vettel's not on the side there as well. What was worse? So, I think, Omi, we're going to have to call it a night there because we're going to have no drivers to talk to, unfortunately, because they're all very busy. And if we did get them in, it would not go well and not be broadcastable. So, we've got a result. We think we know we've got a result. It's either LMB who's won or Casper who's won. So it's one of those two who's taken the victory. We'll have that confirmed to you tomorrow. Check in for the WOR Twitter and Discord for that. But what did you make of it? Because we did have an exciting race here today.
Honestly, even though we didn't get to do like about half of it, I think that's the best one I've done on this game so far. It was that dramatic, it was quite chaotic, and there wasn't a dull moment of it. When we thought we were heading into the phase where it was quiet and down, all of a sudden we had a big shock come into play as well. That's been the type of day for WOR Tier 5, and as I mentioned, I think we've picked the right one to broadcast to you as well.
We really have. This has been an exciting one throughout the evening. Omi, thank you very much for joining us here tonight in the commentary box. I want to say a special thank you as well to Josh Turner, our producer and director this evening, for doing an outstanding job in such difficult circumstances. And I want to thank all of you at home for tuning in tonight for WR and Tier 5. We'll be back with more action coming soon from the craziness of Monaco. Did you know what happened? Tell us. Answer on a postcard. Bye-bye.